Career. What is it about? So, the chair. Yeah, career. For most people, or many people, it is important to have a career. And, but the problem is, it's not always the one that you think you will get, that you eventually get, your profession, when it comes to your profession. I mean, yeah, I know many people who went to school for a long time, to university and really struggled to graduate, only to get to work in something else than they studied for. Yeah, career. So now, especially, and especially if you live in a major city, it is hard, really, yeah. It is hard, and the competition is just merciless, cutthroat. Yeah, it is very hard to get to work in your field that you specialize for. I mean, that you educated yourself for. Otherwise, why? Why do we get a higher education? Might as well just work at McDonald's or the grocery store, whatever is available. So yeah, many people are left then either without a job because they don't want to, take just anything unless they are, of course, they have to, like they have kids and whatever, whatnot. But yeah, many people either don't they struggle to get a job because of that, and because they are told they are overqualified for this job and that job, and then or they take some kind of just what second-rate job, let's put it that way. Not what they educated themselves for, but something that may be somehow connected loosely, very usually connected to it. And and then they start wondering, why did I go 5 6 years, 4 5 6 years to college to university just to get to work with something completely different or very different. So yeah, it is very hard. I mean, for myself, I wanted to or I did kind of educate myself to be a photographer, because I thought that would be really enjoyable to work as a photographer. However, it turned out there weren't really that many jobs, to get, unless you were like a freelance photographer, of course. But of course, then the competition, like this, crazy. And so you gotta be, at the top of your game or field to really succeed, to make a living, of course. Otherwise, it's just sell a few here and there for small bucks, nothing really you can live off. So, yeah, there's always somebody who wants to buy a nice photo, some kind of smaller, maybe magazine or paper or site, whatever. And yeah, so the problem is many also jobs or professions or several have been made, obsolete by the technological development now. So, yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to do here is trying to give advice to younger people who are very idealistic and think, hey, I'm gonna study, I'm gonna be an engineer, or I'm gonna be an archaeologist or whatever. Especially there, it's very hard, to get a job in such fields such as archaeology. Only the one or two out of every class get to work there in that field, I believe. But also engineers, there are many engineers, so it is can be hard. Doesn't matter which kind of engineer, but yeah, it's and the competition again, like crazy. So yeah, what is important when you are picking your career path? Uh, is that you must listen, think good and hard, of course. What do I really want to do? In my life when I graduate. Because sometimes it happens. Sometimes you think you want to do this, but later on you find out I don't really want to feel like being uh, whatever. Let's say a landscaper, for instance, or something, whatever, or a graphical designer or something like that. And again, also big competition in those fields as well. Um, so my, I think the best occupation for somebody who has a lot of knowledge and likes, of course, giving away knowledge is to be a teacher or a professor eventually, if they are really think they know so much, of course. That's what I would have probably chosen if I, had like taken that education, if I wanted to go to college or, but I didn't really. I didn't feel like it for several reasons. I didn't think that I would be able to, go through at least 4 years of really hard studying. And yeah, and once again, I mean, yeah, doesn't matter. Not gonna go there, wherever I was thinking. So, so to pick the right career path. What when I say right, it's not just what you feel like doing or can think. Yeah, it's like what you can imagine yourself doing and where it's not too hard to get work. So that should be your goal. Those jobs should be your goal. So don't get all excited and say, "Oh, I'm gonna be a big shot businessman or whatever, or scientist or you know." Well, scientists that's a little different. Scientists usually get jobs in their fields, but pretty much everybody else they have to struggle, and yeah. Like I can use, for instance, an example. Person very close to me, he has gone like to college or university for 6 years, studied psychology. But first, when he came back to the city where he is from, it's a major city capital. He could not get work there. First, I mean, even now he doesn't work in that field. But first, he had to do something pretty that not many people would like to do or want to do for like 4 or 5 years, and then he found something better. But still, he's only worked briefly, maybe 3 years in the field of psychology, and that was in a smaller place because it was outside a major city also. So another problem, yeah, many people don't want to really move or relocate to smaller place. Maybe they have problems of leaving family behind, whatever, or they don't like traveling all the time, and they just feel it's boring maybe to live in a smaller place. I don't know. Some don't mind at all, so for them it's really good. But like here in Norway, like I was told like one of the job training courses that up north is where where it's sad, where it's easiest to get to work. But who will want to move there? Who will want to live where it's even colder than here? I mean, even here it's cold enough, but up there it's hell, like usually. So yeah, that's why. That's the trick. If to get a job easy, you gotta live somewhere where not many people will want to live. So it's so damn, crazy. It is funny. It's not funny. I'm trying to think of that word. It's kind of ludicrous. That's what it is, and it's like a kind of satirical comedy. This whole thing. So yeah, and another thing. I mean, even people who have graduated, from university, there are plenty of them, at the employment bureau or the bureau for the non-employed. So there you go. If I was now a young 20 something, 18, 19, whatever, man, I would have to choose if I wanted to choose that path of going to college, university, I think, yeah, as I said, I would choose something, a teaching job, or, something that would give me a teaching job, any kind. However, of course, teachers don't get paid that much. Professors do get paid quite a lot more, I believe. But teachers, that job is kind of hard to get, being a professor, of course. So many have had to settle being something else, like high school teachers or something like it. So yeah, I mean, but once again, you have to be very realistic. First of all, don't let your fantasy, run wild. Oh, I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna be that. No, be realistic. If you know you are very smart, you are very, how to say, engaged and, ready to do whatever is necessary, then yeah, go for it. By all means, go for the highest slot there available. But yeah, it's a pretty cruel world, fighting for a top slot, and it can be a lot cozier working at a maybe school or a smaller kind of company, maybe, or yeah, why not? And so, but many people feel, it's below their, dignity to work, lower paid jobs, whatever, lower paying, and yeah, but there's it's a double-edged sword. There's an upside and a downside to everything. You have a high-paying job, you know you don't have much of a life outside of your job. So also remember that there are people who wanna work, in one of those jobs, big paying jobs, but also they like their home life, they like their family life. So yeah, that kind of crashes and collides. So when they start in a big paying job in a big company, they soon they can get pretty disillusioned and tired of it all, and yeah, they end up leaving and working for a smaller company in order to be more with their loved ones, and that's the way to go if you are that type, of course. But if you are a different type, then yeah, then you go climb as high as you can. But yeah, I'm not that type. I could never be. It doesn't matter. Even if I got to do something that I really loved, I couldn't be working in a job where I had to be there like from 8 in the morning till 8 in the evening. like actors, for instance, or maybe software developers, or how it's called, what's it called, defense, yeah, defense people, that work in the Ministry of Defense and stuff like that. So yeah, be very know yourself very well. You gotta know, and some also get pressure by their parents. That's bullshit. I guess it is. Parents can really be terrible when it comes to that. The worst, especially your father. Oh, I didn't raise you so you could work as a, this and that. I wanted you to be that, this and that instead. Well, tough luck, old man. That's what you should tell them. I'm my own man now. I take my own choices. So, don't give in to that. Especially, that's just BS. That's BS. You should know yourself better than they do, and just don't. It's very easy also to kind of lose your courage sometimes when you have to really compete. And yeah, but you gotta think, is this worth it? Am I really doing it for myself, for my eventually maybe my family? Yeah. All right. Those were some of my thoughts regarding that. All right. Bye.